Welcome back to Retro Life for You, your time machine for everything rad, retro, and ridiculously awesome from the 80s and 90s. I'm your host, Chris, and today we have Travis with us and
Ridiculously awesome.
ridiculously awesome. And
I've got
Travis, I,
some.
I understand you have a surprise for me today.
I do. I do. The movie that we're doing, actually, somebody caught a glimpse of it and said, that looks pretty cool. And I was like, well, you want to watch it? And maybe sit in on some of the podcasts with us, if not all of it. And he was like, yeah, sure. So we got Mini Travis in here today, a little Connor man.
Mini Travis.
What's up?
No soccer going on. Time for a podcast.
That's right. Band's about to start, though.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, we are actually firing up our dial-up modems this week, jacking into cyberspace with the 95 cult classic Hackers. Travis, when's the last time before today that you actually you sat down and watched Hackers?
Oh, when it came out, for sure.
It's probably been a good while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't remember half of it. I didn't remember that. What's his name was in it from the Scream? I didn't remember Shaggy was in there. Old boy from
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, Matthew.
Yeah, serial killer. I think it's what they called him in there.
Yeah, he played a good. Yeah, because Lucky Charms. Or was it Fruit Loops?
Fruit Loops. Angelina Jolie's debut movie, and as they nicely put it here, she brings us pixie cuts before the world even knew what her name was. I had to look up pixie cuts. I'm not that cool, so I had to look up pixie cuts.
Oh yeah,
short haircut, basically.
Right.
I mean, you and I know about that short haircut, don't we?
We do. For sure, especially on the top side.
Right. Better if we had hair, wouldn't it? Anyway, so boot up your best CGI hacking screensaver and let's dive deep into the neon-drenched world of Hackers here. So, rundown of the movie, for those who might not remember, like you haven't seen it since it came out. Hackers hit the theaters in September of 1995. It's directed by Iain Softley with a screenplay by Rafael Moreu. The story centers around a group of teenage hackers who uncover a high-level corporate conspiracy and must use their skills to take down a villainous computer security officer. The movie is essentially The Matrix before The Matrix, and of course, minus the leather trench coats and bullet time. The plot follows Dade Murphy, a.k.a. Zero Cool, a legendary hacker who at the age of 11 crashed 1,507 computer systems in one day and got banned from computers until his 18th birthday.
How would you like to get banned from computer? So you're 12, he was 11. How would you like to get banned from all computer systems till you were 18?
Well, I'm not using any of them, but it would make schoolwork harder.
I don't know. No computer systems, no access to dial-up or internet. That would mean PS5s, Xboxes, anything like that.
That's no access to internet.
No cell phone usage.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, very much so.
Phones are very useful.
That would suck for me too. I don't think I could handle that. The mom picks him up, moves him to New York City. So now he's a high school senior. Ends up falling up with a crew of underground hackers, including Acid Burn, Serial Killer, Phantom Phreak, and Lord Nikon. And they all get wrapped up in a digital frame job that threatens them all. So, fun movie for me. I've always liked it. I always thought it was a really fun movie because I always loved computers. And I was always interested in hacking. I don't know how to hack, but I mean, it interests me, the things you can do with that, though. I mean, it's pretty much amazing.
There used to be something they called war driving, and that was when Wi-Fi first hit the scene. So what you would do was you have your laptop Wi-Fi compatible, and you could run around, and they call it war driving. You just ran around in your car picking up the signals, and then you'd hack into the dang library system or county sheriff's office or Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts. There was my favorite thing when dial-up was around at that point in time, and you're talking about hacking, was when they had the chat programs just started coming out and becoming big. Like I don't know if you remember Merc or not. It was Internet Relay Chat.
Mm-hmm.
There was a program they called Whirlybird, and you could use Whirlybird to do many things. You could impersonate somebody in the room,
Mm-hmm.
their name, and look like you're them typing in there. You could
Yeah.
impersonate their name, and you could whisper somebody where it only goes to them to see.
Yes.
And me and my wife at the time, we would do this and we would laugh for hours on end because we would just find people to pick on, and we would whisper somebody out of the blue from somebody else in the room that we seen them, barely talking to. And if they had any beef going on, it was on for sure. So we
Right.
would do the most outlandish stuff to them that you just wouldn't believe.
Well, that's
And
how we used to have Kermit, and Kermit may still be around, but Kermit was it was like the original VPN. It'd make you vanish
mhm.
from being online. That's how we started out the dark web and doing things that you wasn't supposed to be doing and running into chat rooms and quote unquote hacking stuff like that.
Trading music back and forth on FTP servers.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't do that. I've heard of it before. That's what I
Yeah.
meant to say. I've heard of it before.
Exactly.
I
That's no
never
secret. I got
I
threatened to have
never owned Napster. Never.
never on Napster.
Never. Yet never.
Yeah, I got threatened for the cable company to not give me internet no more.
Didn't we all get that letter?
Oh, they called me on the phone.
They called you on. You got special attention.
Yeah. So let me ask you real quick, then, Connor.
Mm.
What caught your attention about the movie? Like when you first were like, that looks pretty cool. Was it the computers and the hacking and all that stuff, or?
I think some of it was, but most of it was that it was like, I don't know. It was just appealing.
Yeah, music and the sounds and
The
dialogue.
techno
Talking about
music,
and all.
the different looks on the computer screens when they were supposedly hacking into a network. What it looks like when you're navigating through the computer, supposedly.
Mhm.
All
And the background music, man, the soundtrack was awesome. The background music was catchy. I did think it was funny too that like one of the leaders in the world, it came across the screen too, Samsung in 1995. Boy,
the soundtrack is one of the things that made it a cult classic movie. Actually, the fans really took to the soundtrack to it, loved it, and that's helped carry it on because it was a flop at the theater. They had $20 million invested. It made 7.5.
right?
So it was a flop there. But once it hit, VHS, DVD, I guess it'll be DVD actually at this point in time, wouldn't it? 95.
Mhm.
It took off from there. Just like a lot of other movies we discussed in the past. So
Yeah, that's what it was. It was budgeted around 20 million and pulled in like 7.5 at the box office.
mhm.
That's what it says. Like a certified flop, but it gained, like you said, it gained cult status and is now considered a must watch in the hacker and retro communities, retro tech communities.
Iconic soundtrack, cyberpunk aesthetic to it. That's the
Right.
thing that really set people off.
I don't really know if I'd call it the Matrix before the Matrix, though.
I think they refer to it Matrix before the Matrix because Matrix is a very popular movie that's based upon hacking. It's like you're hacking inside the computer to do the things you want to be able to do. Like how he learns kung fu, or he can manipulate things and jump from building to building or something like that.
Yeah, I can accept that. I reckon.
I think there's other good hacking movies that I would put in comparison to it, like the Antitrust or The Net. Even War Games. I mean,
For sure.
as far as that goes. So, kind of touch on some of the people that were in the movie here. Johnny Lee Miller, which I had never heard of in my life at this point, played Dade Murphy, aka Zero Cool, aka Crash Override. He's known from Train Spotting as well as the Sherlock Holmes in the series Elementary, and that's the only other place I really know him from is Elementary.
What is zero cool? Does that mean he's not cool, or does that mean his system was running at 0 degrees?
Zero cool. That means it's mad.
I mean, is that like no chill?
That's what I guess.
I like it.
I think it's a pretty cool name. I like Crash Override a little bit better for him though.
I do too.
It
Yeah, Crash
definitely went,
Override.
Mm-hmm.
it definitely went well with Kate Libby's name Acid Burn. So
Mm-hmm.
as a serial killer said, crash and burn.
What would your hacker name be? What would your hacker name be if you were to get one?
I'll answer that later.
You go, Chris.
It's hard to come up with on the spot like that. You really got to put some thought into it.
Yeah, I like that.
So I mean, it's what to think on it for a while. Maybe we'll come back to it and we'll have something.
I'd be Gonad the Barbarian. That's one of my gamer tags.
Is it?
Yeah, Gonad the Barbarian. That's my original tag. And now, it's like if you go back on PlayStation, you can look me up right there.
Mr. Gonad, take your girl.
Yeah, Gonad, take your girl. And then we got nowadays on Xbox is Jason Testes.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a funny name when it comes to gaming. You've got to have a funny name. Like I've got Splenda Daddy as one of my WoW names.
Splenda Daddy,
because I don't have enough gold to be Sugar Daddy. I got to be a Splenda Daddy.
I had to change it to Jason Testes because Gonad kept getting doggone flagged. Like, well, you can't enter profanity. I'm like, how's Gonad a profane word? Oh, okay, fine. Jason Testes. Because I murder bitches.
You gotta test the boundaries for sure. Oh my gosh, Angelina Jolie in this movie.
I like it.
What's that?
Hellspawn. That's a good.
There you go. Name. There you go.
There you go.
I think I'm gonna be a cross between the two. I'm gonna be Zero Burn. That's what I'm gonna be.
Zero Burn.
Yeah. It's stupid, but I'm gonna do it anyway, just for the sake of having a name. When you think Angelina Jolie, what's the first movie you think of? It's sure not Hackers.
Honestly, probably Wanted or Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider is what I think of when I think of her. The first movie that pops in my head is Tomb Raider for sure.
Mine's Wanted. And maybe because I rewatched Wanted here a couple of weeks ago too. So
it's a good movie though.
It is a good movie.
This was her first major role just a few years before winning an Oscar for Girl Interrupted, it says, and then going full action star in Tomb Raider and Mr. and Miss Smith. You mentioned Matthew Lillard earlier.
Matthew Lillard.
He'd go on to star in Scream, which is one half of the killer duo, and Scooby-Doo, and later became the voice of actually Shaggy Rogers in the animation cartoon.
Hey, Scoop! I think we ought to get out of here.
Hey.
Zoinks!
Zoinks! Like, hey, Scoop!
Jesse Bradford plays Joey, the most annoying hacker that they had there. He was always wanting some attention. He was wanting a name, a handle. He says he's nothing without his handle. I don't think he ever got a handle given to him either throughout the entire movie. Even though
my man was like, quit getting your mama to buy you shoes, man. You want a handle, you got to do.
You got to quit letting your mom dress you, man. I'm trying to help you.
Let your mom dress you, man.
He was in such things such as Swim Fan and Bring It On. I don't remember him in Bring It On though. Was he one of the male cheerleaders or something?
Oh,
was Blade and Razor gay?
If I was making an educated guess watching them in the movie, I felt like that was what they were portrayed as. Yeah. I can't say for sure. They didn't really specify that or say it specifically that they were. But between the makeup and the way they talked and everything, I think that's probably how the characters were portrayed.
Yeah.
So, Fisher Stevens as the Plague. I definitely remember him in Short Circuit, but that's the only other thing I remember him from. I know he's been in more things, like they say on there. What?
That's that ball.
Oh.
I said, no, that's that symbol.
No, that's a symbol. Johnny Five is alive.
Fisher Stevens was in quite a few things, but yeah, I would say, remember him most from from Short Circuit for sure.
I'm pretty sure that's the main thing that comes to mind for me, other than this movie here. Lorraine Bracco. There's two things come to mind for me with Lorraine Bracco, and I never watched. Before we get into it, I never watched The Sopranos, so
Yeah.
I don't know her from there. Definitely know her from Goodfellas. We talked about we done this just last year, I believe. Goodfellas, and then she's got one season in her belt under Blue Bloods as well, which I know her.
Oh, yo, actually, she was just in a phenomenal movie called Nonas, and oh my God, this movie is great. Not exactly what I was thinking. I think I talked about it on the show after I watched it, about how the dude brought all the Vince Vaughn plays in it, and he brings all the. Yeah, I was telling Mary about it. He starts the restaurant in New York.
Yeah,
and brings all the nonas together, all the grandmas and mothers and stuff, and now it's nonas around the world. So they bring in like people from. So you have to. Yeah. She was in it.
Yeah, I do remember that. I've not seen it, but I do remember you talking about it though.
It's a great movie.
And this guy I don't really know from anything before. I don't remember seeing it, but Wendell Pierce, he's from The Wire, and I didn't watch The Wire. And
I watched The Wire, some of it.
Did you like it? The Wire, was that USA or FX show or something like that?
I think it was on FX. It was about Baltimore cops and stuff. Yeah, he was the principal in Bad Moms too. I remember him from that.
There's a couple more names I wanted to throw out there. Now these are kind of like, in a way they're like cameos to me. But Penn Jillette playing one of the system administrators, and Mark Anthony as one of the agents. Mm-hmm. And I had to double check this to make sure I was seeing this correctly, Mark Anthony, because I'm thinking of the singer, and sure enough, that's him.
What? Really?
Yeah,
what?
Singer.
It is.
Yeah, singer and actor both.
Ain't that J-Lo's husband?
I don't know if they're married right now. I think they were married at one point in time, though.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Razor and Blade, Darren Lee and Peter Kim. Pretty sure we've seen them in other things.
Probably.
I'm not going to dig too deep into them, though. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
Right.
So, is there any particular character that you like the most from the movie?
Let's go to you, Connor.
Phreak.
Phantom Phreak. Yep.
Yeah, he was pretty cool.
What did you judge it on? Was it his personality or just
personality?
Like the way he's dressed or what? What about him made you like him?
His personality.
Well, tell the audience what he did. It was cool. Tell them about his personality. What he did that made you be like, yeah, he's pretty cool.
He's pretty cool. I think he has good fashion sense, and I don't remember what it was called. He did the one thing. I don't remember what it's called though.
The trick he did with the recording sounds for the payphone.
Yeah, that.
And okay, I was looking that up, and that's actually something in the trivia where he talked about that was a thing that was able to be done back in the day. You could record the sounds of you putting the coins in the payphone, because that's what it was basing it off of, was the sounds. And then you play it back in, and it was like you put the money in there. I was like, "There's no way that really works," But
like it really did.
They claiming it worked though.
That was like the old school car washes that when they first started feeding the dollar bill, not the ones you lay it in and push it in, but when they first started feeding the dollar bills in, you could tear the dollar halfway across, right behind the president's head. It will work with ones, fives, and 20s. You tear it right across about a quarter inch, right behind his head. On the past it, like from whatever side you're pushing it in, it'll go in, it'll read the dollar, but it spits the dollar back out, so it gives you the change and your dollar back. There was some people running around Greenville in the 90s emptying out car washes like that.
Speaking of little,
I think one of my favorites was Cereal, man. Because he was hilarious. He was, this ain't shop class?
This isn't wood shop? Of all the things I missed the most, of all the things I've missed, of all the things I lost, I miss my mind the most. Ozzy Osbourne, dude.
Ozzy, dude.
Yeah,
Who's
he was
yours?
good. You know, I think he was one of the coolest as well. I mean, just given the fact he's funny, he was smart with what he with the hacking abilities that he had, and then his little speech at the end when he gets on with Razor and Blade to reveal the thing that happened was kind of cool as well. And it's almost like he embraces that kind of character. It's just goofy, you know.
Yeah, he does that pretty
But
much everything he's in.
yeah, that's his gimmick. I think right there, just that little goofy
Mhm.
thing he's got going on.
Oh, I forgot.
Whoa.
Dude, look, he was the dad from Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, he was the dad?
Yeah, he was the bad guy on Five Nights at Freddy's. I forgot all about that.
Huh.
Did you
He
see
was really
13 Ghosts?
Yeah, he was in it.
He was
Yep,
in
I've
13
seen
Ghosts as well.
13 Ghosts is one of my all-time
Go back
favorites.
up.
I love 13 Ghosts.
Mhm.
Like where the pictures?
Oh, up here at the picture.
More.
More what?
Like
You want to see more
where there's
photos?
a few things. Back.
That's Scooby. It's just a bunch of screenshots of Scooby, bro. I'm closing it. What you want? What you want?
That.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
commercial for Five Nights. That's the trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's.
Hmm.
Yeah, he played her dad in it. Remember?
Ah. Oh yeah, I do.
The live action
Yeah.
Scooby Doo he did well too. I mean, he's probably the closest thing to
Yeah.
a Shaggy there ever was.
You ever? Yeah, that you'll ever get. That you'll ever get.
The actor for Michael Afton was the actor for Shaggy.
Huh.
Billions.
Mm.
So what I'm going to do? I meant to do this earlier.
Mortal Kombat?
and- What was he in Mortal Kombat?
He was Shaggy in Battle of the Realms.
Oh, like in the video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. They brought all kinds of characters into the video game. He was definitely one of them. It's funny to bring something like that into Mortal Kombat, though. I mean,
No
I get the
doubt.
Rambo thing, I get the Predator, I get the
Well,
Terminator.
Ghostface is in the new one too. You got Ghostface, Peacemaker. What's the name off the boys? And Conan.
I mean, those things I get, but Shaggy. I mean, I understand it was a fun meme thing going on. I get that,
Oh
but
yeah, when he went full, he went Ultra Instinct.
yeah.
Ultra Instinct Shaggy.
And that was an actual thing in the one game.
Mm-hmm.
Multiverses. It's called. That game was fun. He was in the Devil's Child movie.
I think 13 Ghosts is my favorite thing he's done though. After Scream. I mean, the first Scream
love
movie
13
obviously was probably the best.
Mm-hmm.
And no one's seen that coming, anywhere, I
Yeah.
don't think. So that was probably his best
Stabbed
good. But
me
then
too
13
deep.
Ghosts was a good second
Right.
though.
Too deep. You stabbed me too deep.
Yes.
I'm feeling woozy, man.
Yeah, I'm feeling woozy, man.
All right, so I meant to do this earlier. Obviously, I did not. I was going to play the trailer for the movie, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. For those who have not seen it and you're watching the video, you can catch the trailer and then maybe make a better decision whether you want to watch the movie or not. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it on the screen. And here we go.
Hidden beneath the world we know is the world they inhabit.
Dave,
Yeah, Mom?
what are you doing?
I'm taking over a TV network.
Well, finish up, honey, and get to sleep.
They're hackers.
Hackers penetrate and ravage private and publicly owned computer systems.
Hack the planet.
It's not just something they do.
Sure this sweet machine's not going to waste.
Are you challenging me?
It's who they are.
I win, you wear a dress on our date.
And if I win, so do you.
They can crack any code. And get inside any system.
Hello?
Mr. Gill, according to our records, you're dead.
I'm what?
But this time,
Come here, look at this.
It's some kind of virus.
Unless $5 million is transferred to the following account, I will capsize 5 oil tankers.
they just hacked the wrong guy.
Game's over.
Whoever wrote this needs somebody to take the phone.
He's about to commit the perfect computer crime.
You've created a virus that's going to cause a worldwide disaster.
And they're about to take the blame.
A hacker planted the virus.
But it's the perfect cover.
We're being framed.
Can we be allies?
I don't play well with others.
Wow, we are fried.
Okay, let's nail it.
Now,
You're not good enough to beat me.
Yeah, maybe I'm not. But we are.
they're the only ones who can prevent a catastrophe.
I know how to stop this guy.
They'll trace you like that.
Are you nuts? Come at me!
Unlike any the world has ever seen.
Never send a boy to do a woman's job.
Hackers of the world unite.
Cops on the building. I need more time.
This is the end, my friend.
United Artists welcomes you to the new world. Hackers.
Summer of 1995.
Two things about that. All right. From that preview, two things. One, why is he wearing some kind of thing over his eye when he's looking as he's hacking through the laptop? Like it's giving him some sort of advantage or something. It reminds me of like the last Starfighter from that the alien ship. That the guy's like, he looks up, says, "What do we do now?" And he looks up and the thing goes, "Beep, we die."
It reminded me of the scouter from Dragon Ball.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He was scouting their power, man.
But I
It's above 9,000.
what I think it would have been for in that situation was that it would like focus the thing, or like it would zoom in on the screen.
Maybe it was like the glasses now that we have now before we had them,
Oh, those.
or like the hood, like the bullseye hood on the fighter jet, something like that. Aren't you thinking?
I wondered if it was something along the lines of like blocking like the light or something from the computer. Like it's like wearing sunglasses in a sense or something where
We didn't
But
know.
why would he only have one on one side?
Yeah,
that's another thing though. It might do that, but why only one eye?
that was a sensitive eye.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, we didn't know about blue light back then. Oh, we was talking about earlier too, though. Pretty cool little thing. We were talking about Johnny Mnemonic. The computer that they were going to break into, the mainframe called the Gibson,
Right.
was actually an homage that they were paying to author William Gibson, who actually wrote Johnny Mnemonic.
Right. I had seen that earlier somewhere. Forget where now, but yeah.
That
The
guy.
name what was the name? Gosh, serial killer's real name in the movie. Emmanuel Goldstein or something like that, I believe.
Something like that.
Hang on a second. I'm looking for it now in here.
Did you know that Johnny Lee Miller and Angelina Jolie got married after making the movie, shortly after making it, and were divorced 4 years later?
Right. Didn't last too long. Real life hacker Emmanuel Goldstein it's basically a pseudonym from 2600 appears in the film. He's actually in the film.
Where's it done?
Oh.
It says the movie uses real Unix commands, but the actual hacking was not real at all. It's just pure Hollywood.
Well, Emmanuel Goldstein was taken from George Orwell's novel 1984 and used as a pseudonym by Emmanuel Goldstein, aka Eric Corkley, who publishes the magazine 2600, The Hacker Quarterly.
Hacker Quarterly.
But Corley was uncredited. He was an uncredited consultant for the film too.
Right. They say the hacking visuals, those wild flying graphics and stuff, city grids and things were just hand-built CGI. It was actually considered groundbreaking stuff at the time.
Right.
I can't think of any other movie, and maybe it's just me. I can't think of any other movie that they use that type of thing in. Of course.
Yeah. Well, they use motion control models too, because the director thought that the graphics had looked too fake that were able to be generated by computer back then.
So the two people that were mentioned in the trivia that also were considered for the roles, could you see them playing the parts? Leonardo DiCaprio as Dade Murphy and Hilary Swank as Acid Burn.
Sure. Especially back then. Back then, for sure.
So DiCaprio
that
just
would have been right after Growing Pains for what's his name?
It looks like a magnifying glass.
Well, since he just come off what's eating Gilbert Grape.
Yeah.
For DiCaprio. And I don't know what Hilary Swank had done at that point. But who knows?
Not sure.
She might have been good for it.
It does look like a magnifying glass, but it's got a cord on it.
Yeah. So it probably shows something. So it might be like a little mini screen.
Maybe.
I bet it's also something so they can like hear each other more clearly or something.
Did you notice too that is it Penn or Teller? Penn was in it.
Penn. Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier. Penn Jillette was one of the system administrators.
Who that?
Yeah. He's one of the magicians from Penn and Teller.
What's that?
Okay. I'll have to show you who Penn and Teller is later then.
They have a TV show too, where you can, if you're able to fool them, then I guess you win. You win something out of it. I have a friend that went on their show. That's from here. He's a magician as well. I believe Mike was, I think.
So the Hacker Manifesto too was also written by a hacker in the 80s named Lloyd Blankenship, who went by the name of The Mentor, and it was published in Phreak magazine, issue 7, file 03 in 1986, which is pretty cool. I know Zony, who was a famous hacker back in the day.
Who's that?
He's still now though. He makes fractals. He has old Commodore computers and stuff that crunch.
Commodore
so he's got like he's got like a room full of dedicated computers that just crunch fractals, which is pretty daggum awesome.
Did you ever get on a Commodore 64?
Oh yeah.
I remember. Oh, well, one of my friends had one of those, and they had the cassette player that you would play games on. You'd put a cassette tape in, and they had Zaxxon. It's the only game they had was Zaxxon.
Heck yeah.
But it was cool though. I mean, that's the only thing.
The way Sony does it is he's got those old Commodore. He's got old computers, like old shit.
Tandy 1000.
He still uses it, and that's what he does. He has four, I think, this has been years ago too, but he had 4 of them just dedicated to crunching numbers for fractals. He's who I learned linear math from. Linear math is insane. It's really cool how it works, how they grid it out, and they showed it like each grid. You basically, there's a grid inside a grid. You got 4 corners, so you split it into 4 and split it in. It's just an infinite.
Yeah.
Walk into the number. It's crazy. I'm not even explaining it anywhere close to right, but yeah, it's really, really awesome.
I'm gonna refill Dad's drink, and y'all figure out a way to prank me or something so the audience will laugh.
Figure out a way to prank you so the audience will laugh.
Sure.
Okay.
Try it.
Prank.
All right, I like it. They figure out a way to prank him so the audience will laugh. He said.
I have no idea how to prank him.
I'm
all the way over here. Did you look into pre-production and behind the scenes?
I didn't.
Director Iain Softley had just come off the success of Backbeat and wanted to explore youth counterculture, so enter the hacker scene, which was just becoming mainstream news in the early 90s. Writer Rafael Moreu spent time with real-life hackers and underground groups to learn their lingo and ethos. He even consulted with 2600 The Hacker Quarterly to capture the authenticity of the lifestyle. And of course, the actors, including Johnny Lee Miller and Angelina Jolie, had to take computer lessons and learn how to type fast. Even if most of what you see on screen is nonsense, but it looked cool.
Right.
Then it mentions they fell in love during filming and got married in '96.
I like the Arf Gotcha because my dad got hit with that. The Arf Gotcha, which appears to the end. When Gibson's about to crash, it's a reference to one of the earliest Trojan horse programs, which was called EGA BTR from 1985. It was described as a graphics utility. It spread by email and wiped out everything on your hard drive, left only the message "arf arf gotcha" on the screen.
Oh, I'd be so mad.
And they said that the ARF may also serve as a double duty reference to the German hacker group Azuel Randgruppe Frankfurt. But yeah, that hit my dad one time. I won't never. I remember that. Just
God, the biggest thing anybody ever got me on was the drink holder. Do you remember the little drink holder script that went around? It would pop open your CD-ROM drive because if you look at it, you can set a canned drink down in that and it holds the canned drink up. So that's the biggest thing I ever got hit with. I stayed away from places that would get me viruses like that. I didn't want to be around anything like that and get my stuff tore up and everything. So
heck yeah. So another cool one is serial killer is a tribute to the actual hacker John Draper, who used the alias Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch.
That's better than me known as Captain Crunch rather than Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the cameo of David Stewart from Eurythmics?
Yes.
Bearded hacker, the bearded London hacker.
Long hair beard guy. So let's see. This is pretty neat. Go ahead.
You mentioned a thing about the Gibson before, right?
Mm-hmm.
About them naming the computer the Gibson.
Use. So Draper discovered in the late 60s. This is Captain Crunch. We just found out that catching Connor up. We just found out that the serial killer was an homage to an actual hacker named John Draper, who went by the name of Captain Crunch. And this is what he figured out. One of the things, his most famous exploit began with a simple plastic toy found in boxes of Captain Crunch cereal. So that's where he got his name. In the late 1960s, Draper discovered that the whistle, when blown into the telephone receiver, this is where they got it. This is where they got recording the sound from, I bet, could emit a 2600 hertz tone, a frequency that can manipulate AT&T's long-distance telephone system. This revelation allowed users to make free calls anywhere in the world, giving rise to the art of phone phreaking. Imagine it. You're in the 1970s, before smartphones, before the internet, before Stranger Things made retro tech cool. Using a serial tour to outsmart corporate giants was the ultimate rebellion. A real-life war game scenario where the system itself became the playing field.
Do you remember the movie The Core?
No. Oh, right, yeah, where they went to the center of the earth.
Yes. So you remember they get the guy they called Rat? He was a hacker they called Rat. And he's trying to impress the guy who's trying to recruit him. So he takes his cell phone from him. It's one of the old Nokia 5165 cell phones. And he takes it. He takes a little bubblegum wrapper and folds it over and puts it to his lips and blows over it where it makes this whistling sound and hands it back to him. And he's like, "You got free long distance for life." He didn't hack the phone or something. Like I really don't think that works at all.
Well,
that is not going.
That may have been something to it too, though, because is that it wasn't just a quirky hack, it was a revolution. He shared his techniques with other pioneers, including Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, the future founders of Apple, and these phreakers became the ancestors of modern hackers, using their skills to question authority and push boundaries of what technology could do.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
So apparently he's the guy that made English easier.
How so?
He's the one that made one of the first things he created Easy Writer.
Oh, yes. In 1979, the first word processor for Apple II. If you were typing up essays, blog posts, or even fan fiction in your laptop today, you owe a nod to Draper for paving the way. The Apple II itself became a symbol of tech empowerment, much like gadgets and the Black Mirror that blur the line between innovation and dystopia. Easy Rider was Draper's way of contributing to the revolution that he helped spark, making technology accessible to everyday users.
When you were in school, Travis, did they do Apple IIe computers for a few weeks? Would you guys?
Yeah, we had Apple IIs, we had Commodores, we had Apples, we had auto. That's what we was playing them down them Oregon Trails.
Oregon Trail. Did they teach you how to make graphics on the Apple IIe?
They probably did. That was a while. That was a long time ago.
You had to have a grid sheet, and by the grid had numbers on both sides and top, and you would color in the square in the grid as basically it represents a pixel, and you color in your picture. So it's got to be like a square. You're kind of like looking at what's that the video game where everything's kind of square looking, 8-bit, 16-bit, something like that.
Lots of them. Nowadays, the most popular one is Roblox.
Minecraft.
What? Wait, what are y'all talking about?
It reminds you of the graphics for that remind you of Minecraft if you drew something, because it had to be kind of square like or almost square.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you would type in the coordinates of the pixel and the color you wanted it to be for like with the little code, like the £XXY XYX or whatever, whatever the code was for it. And then that would be you entering where you want the pixel to be on the screen and what color it is. And you keep entering all these things in there. And when you're done, you run it. And that's your picture graphic you just made.
Heck yeah.
So that'd be
What's your favorite quote or moment from the movie? We got a lot of dead space here. We can't be having a lot of dead space. You want to go first, Chris?
Mess with the best, die like the rest.
Mess with the best, die like the rest. Yeah. I like that one too.
Just showed how bad they were, You can't touch this.
That's one.
Oh. Mine was probably, man, you got to quit letting your mama dress you. That honest to God, that's probably my favorite part of the whole. It's not my favorite part of the whole movie, but honestly, that I just felt that was so funny.
You had to repeat it because your sound went out for a second.
Oh, I said my favorite one, and it just for no reason. I just felt like it was just to me that was one of the funniest parts of the movie was when he yelled at old boys, "Man, you got to quit letting your mama dress you."
Yeah,
so something about slapping him.
Man, Joey, don't be doing that. I'm trying to help you, man, but you gotta quit letting your mama dress you like that.
Right. How about when he came back in and soaking wet and she said, "Oh, look, you found a pool."
Oh no, that is great. That was some funny stuff. He gets up there, there's no pool and it rains on him. And she's like, "Oh, he found the pool." But then he gets the revenge of having the sprinklers go off, and she's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, I guess the pool and the roof sprung a leak." And she gets mad and stomps off, and Phantom Phreak is like, "Oh, this is gonna be great.
This is gonna be great." Well, Connor, Chris, we're right here. We're close to our 45-minute mark we've been trying to get to. Yep. I was gonna see what you thought if you turn this technology off for a minute.
I'm curious about that. It was a question about the movie.
Well,
hey,
really?
Technology in a hacker movie. Is he hacking on the phone right now?
He is.
Is that what he's doing?
I was going to ask you, Hackers Den Makers Workshop. What are you looking up? Don't be
places.
Man, you done crashed my computer in the living room. Don't be messing around with these hackers. You don't be getting on anonymous websites.
I did not press the website.
Hey, look, how do you feel about the movie? Like other kids your age, do you think other kids your age would dig it? Do you think Do you think it's pretty cool for today's time, or like it's historical because they had things in there that were actually going on back in the 1900s? Or
I'd say that most people in my school wouldn't like it. I mean, a select few would, like my friends, like Grayson maybe, but a good few of people of my age would probably like it.
What do you think they'd like about it? Maybe the rebellion and the technology and the visuals and the music.
Probably. Not so much the music though.
Okay.
But I think that's most of why.
Like the spirit of rebellion. And then the technology.
That, and I guess that movie was a good bit funny too.
Okay.
Two things that were cool about the movie. He goes to the club where Kate's at, and there's that big screen with the game on it. The video game that they were playing was called, it's an early version of Wipeout, is what it was in 1995. It was released in September of 95. But the thing I thought was extra cool, though, was what the Plague was doing. He was in one of those little stand-up booths you stand in where you got the virtual goggles or the virtual helmet on, playing one of those games. They had one of those at one of the laser tag places that I used to frequent in my nerdier days. They had one of those there. And to think, it started off like that, and now you can have that in your living room right now, wearing the headset with the little 2 handheld things to play the games with and everything. I could never do that, though. I'd get carried away probably and trip over a coffee table or slam my knee into it or something stupid like that. I could definitely see that happening.
If you set it up right, it don't. What?
Is Takedown the sequel?
Is Takedown the sequel? I don't know.
No, there's no sequel to Hackers.
I actually put Hackers 2, and it did I must have called from Mom.
Hackers 2? Really?
If there was a Hackers 2, it'd probably a standalone movie.
I'm pretty sure it might be Takedown.
Hackers 2 Takedown.
Wasn't that played Takedown. after we watched it? Takedown?
The cover for the movie looks a lot like it.
Really? Now you got me curious now.
Check this out. The film is based on the story of the capture of computer hacker Kevin Mitnick.
Who's Kevin?
It may actually be a doggone sequel.
That was in 2000. I could see it. Well, I mean, is it a sequel or just a standalone?
It's a standalone. I think it's a spiritual sequel. Because
because if it was a follow-up sequel, you'd have people from the first one in it.
Right. I might have to watch this now.
Put that on the podcast.
I didn't know it existed, so when we get done with this, I'm gonna look into it and see what it is myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know about that.
Mitch Gibson. Who's Mitch?
I'm gonna say a sequel to Hackers 1995.
The rest of it too.
Let's see what that does.
Oh, what they?
No.
He's discussed making a reboot.
And yeah, that was in 2020.
Or a trance, maybe. Bye.
Anyway.
So, do you think, just to throw one discussion question at you before we get off here tonight? Do you think this film predicted or influenced the cyberpunk aesthetic of the late 90s and early 2000s?
I don't think it did either. I think it was going along with what was happening behind the scenes, and you had some people that were plugged into it.
I think it just brought to life what was going on, like you said, behind the scenes, and it brought it to the forefront for people to see. They may not have known it, about it much, but this kind of brought it out for people to see what was already going on.
Exactly. Yeah.
Influenced a little bit, maybe. I mean, maybe it influenced people who were not.
It could have. It could have.
Who want to dress that way.
I think it would have helped make it cooler to more people. You know what I mean?
If we're talking about bringing, if we're talking about them bringing it to the forefront like that, that would influence some people at least, because they hadn't seen the other before. But seeing it brought out like that for the world to see, it was like, oh, I like that. That's cool. I'm gonna start dressing that way, or I'm gonna start getting into this thing with computers and such, and go from there.
Yeah. So there's one connection that I see between the two movies here, though, is you've got Mitch Gibson. Christopher McDonald plays Mitch Gibson in the Takedown movie.
Is that still in reference to Gibson computers, or?
I would think I would think probably so. Just gonna have to look deeper into it to find out, I reckon.
Gotta
I
watch
guess
it.
so. I guess so. All right. Well, are we about ready to wrap up tonight then?
I think we will. We'll go in here and cook us some dinner.
All right. Well, then, if we're about to wrap up, then we
Maybe
have
go
to
hack a few mainframes.
hack a few mainframes.
Yeah,
we
still going strong. Y'all better get your RFID wallets and all that stuff because people can walk up beside you, hit them credit cards, and take their credit card info. They still doing it. I'm telling you, they're doing it.
Oh, I'm sure that they're still taking stuff at the gas pumps too.
Yep.
I saw a video where someone puts an overlay thing on a cashier thing, and it'll just steal all their info from it.
Yep.
Man. All right. Well, if that's the case, we'll go ahead and start wrapping things up. Thanks everybody for listening today. Connor, thanks for being on here with us this week. Hope you had fun with it.
I did. You're welcome.
And of course, it's great that you get into some of these movies there with your dad and everything and watch them. There's a lot of good ones out there you could probably enjoy. So
that's true.
There'll be more to come.
Yes, we're going back and watching all of the original X-Men right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Working our way back forward through them.
Also,
there you go. You should definitely do that because come Doomsday, we're going to be seeing some X-Men on that.
There you go.
So follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Retro Life for You. If you have any questions or comments or want to make a suggestion to us, it's retrolife4you@gmail.com. We have the website at retrolife4u.com where you can watch all the shows on there and listen in the browser. And Travis, do you have a joke for us this week, or should we just end it by saying hack the planet?
Hack the planet.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week.